welcome to Marriage Connect. My name is Nyokabi Kamau, and I'm really excited to be talking about a faithful spouse. And as you've noticed, we are cutting them. We are trying to make them as short as possible, so you'll have to follow them as they go down, as they continue. So we left in the previous part where we are looking at 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 1 and 15, and we were talking about our responsibility to our spouse sexually and what is required of us and what we should do, and we should put them into consideration. In fact, it says we should not deprive each other except on mutual understanding. And we got to the key word, which was self-control. There, the last part of verse 5, it says that come back together again so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. So God knows that we lack self-control. He knows that we do not have self-control. And that is why self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. All right? So unfaithfulness is as a result of lack of self-control. Unfaithfulness is a result of lack of self-control. Okay? So unfaithfulness, the genesis of unfaithfulness, the startup of unfaithfulness, the startup of unfaithfulness, the beginning of unfaithfulness is a result of lack of self-control. All right? So let's look at what self-control is. Let us look at what is self-control. What is this self-control that we are talking about? All right? So self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. We shall find it in the book of Galatians chapter 2, verse 12 to 23. And it says that the fruits of the Spirit are love, joy, peace, forbearance. All right? Forbearance means restraint or tolerance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Isn't it beautiful how these words marry each other? I like the word forbearance. Forbearance is pattern. It is self-control. It is resistance. It is tolerance. It is the act of refraining from exercising something. Forbearance, it is the action of refraining. So the fruits of the Spirit are joy, love, peace, forbearance, which we are saying forbearance is the act of refraining from something or from doing something that you have the right to do. All right? And the reason why I have focused on forbearance, but I will come back to self-control, is because forbearance is the act of refraining from exercising a legal right. All right? So when I talk to spouses who are unfaithful to their spouse, they always tell me it is because my spouse is doing. It is because they're depriving me. It is because they're withholding their body from me. It is because we cannot come to an agreement as to how we can be having intimacy. It is because my wife is focused on the children and she has no time for me. It is because she doesn't get me. It is because she disrespected me and I feel she doesn't deserve that kind of love from me. And what is all that? Those are valid reasons as to why. They are valid because they have hurt you and they have caused you and drawn you to the place where you are. That is why they are valid. And they are valid because we don't want to downplay deprivation, because the Bible says do not deprive each other. So it is something that can cause sin. So that Satan, and it says immediately after you have set a mutual time to be apart from each other, you come back together so that Satan does not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. All right? So yes, these arguments are valid. But what are the fruits of the Spirit? And how do you enjoy the fruits of the Spirit? How do you get the fruits of the Spirit so that you can avoid being unfaithful? Don't forget, in the first video, we talked about unfaithfulness. The Bible says that be on your guard, that you should not be unfaithful to the woman of your youth or to the girl of your youth, to the girl you fell in love with the first time, your wife. Be on your guard. So how do we get to this place where we are on our guard and we are doing something to prevent us from being unfaithful, to prevent us from going against the will of God and becoming unfaithful? All right? And we are looking to become faithful spouses. So the Bible says that this is a fruit of the Spirit. Self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. It is something that we need to pray about. And we said at the beginning of this video that self-control is a fruit of the Spirit, and unfaithfulness is a result of lack of self-control. And we are learning how to have the fruits of the Spirit. And what are we looking for in the terms of being faithful or being a faithful spouse? We are looking to have something we call forbearance. All right? The act of refraining from exercising a right. Okay? We are looking at self-control. We are looking at desiring to have self-control so that we can bear the fruit of faithfulness. Tuko pamoja? Hatujawachana. Tuko pamoja. So in the book of Malachi, we were looking at verse 14 where the Lord is the witness between you and the woman of your youth and the wife of your youth. The Bible says the wife of your youth, the woman you married in your youth, in your younger days. And the funny thing is, before we used to have unfaithfulness in the older man. The older man was the one who was unfaithful, and the older woman was the one who was unfaithful. But now we even have young generations, young couples who are facing infidelity, who are having their spouses becoming unfaithful in your early ages of marriage when you should be blossoming in intimacy and oneness. You're busy being unfaithful because you have allowed Satan to enter and you have refused to bear the fruit of self-control and forbearance. And the Bible says that you have been unfaithful to her, yet she is your partner. She's your partner sexually because we've learned that. The Bible says in the book of 1 Corinthians 7:1-5 that we should be faithful, we should be each other's, we should fulfill each other's desire. We should meet, we should fulfill our marital duties to each other. We should be there sexually for each other. We should not deprive each other or withhold our body from each other because neither of us has authority over the other. In the book of Proverbs chapter 5 verse 19-20, it is also an amazing verse that talks about you being fulfilled. You being fulfilled by your spouse. All right? I wanted to use a word that is in scripture. Her breasts, yes, her breasts fulfill you. They satisfy you. They bring, oh wow, I love the book of Proverbs. We'll be doing the book of Proverbs in the next video. So we are looking at it and we are seeing God talking about him being witness to this covenant and being witness to this intimacy and being witness to this relationship. That's why he's cautioning us against being unfaithful to wait. All right? So when we look at the fruits of the Spirit, they are love. So what is love? I wondered what is love. And I said love is patient. It is kind. It is not envious. All right? Love is not boastful. It is not proud. It is not dishonoring. And I have found people who have told me the most amazing thing is that they love their wives, but they're being unfaithful. And I would ask them, isn't love faithful? Isn't love does not dishonor? When you're unfaithful to your wife, when you say you love your wife and you're being unfaithful, you're dishonoring her. You're dishonoring the covenant. You're dishonoring the marriage. So how can you say that you have true love and yet you bear the fruits that are not of love? So love does not dishonor. Love always seeks to protect. Love always gives trust. Love trusts. Love hopes. Love perseveres. Love never fails. You see, love perseveres during that time that you're going through the dry spell of deprivation. Love perseveres. So when you tell me that you love your wife, when you're being unfaithful, I'm stuck in the space of, okay, so what kind of love are we talking about? Because love in the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 13 verse 7 says that love is patient, love is kind, love is not envious, love does not boast, it is not proud, it is not dishonoring, it is not self-seeking. Because when you're being unfaithful, you're self-seeking. You're trying to satisfy yourself. You're not considering what your spouse feels about it, you know? And as I was looking at it and I was saying, it does not easily anger. It does not easily keep record of wrong. It does not delight in what is evil and what is not acceptable. So what is being unfaithful? Being unfaithful is being dishonoring. And that is not love. Being unfaithful is being self-seeking, meeting the desire of your heart regardless of how it makes the person who you love feel. And that's why they say the person who loves you the most hurts you the most. How true that word is. How true, whoever the Englishman said that, how true that is. It does not delight in what is evil. Unfaithfulness is unacceptable. So it is evil. And it seeks to protect. So when you're being unfaithful, are you protecting your relationship? Or what are the fruits of being unfaithful? And it takes away hope, yet love is hope. So what we are learning in this video is self-control and forbearance. to help us stay faithful to our spouse. We want to remain faithful.